With the Earth now facing its greatest threat ever, how will Earth's heroes prepare for the threat of Babidi and the mysterious Majin Buu? Find out all of this and more on this episode of What If the Sagas Were Reversed. One thing I sort of want to retcon, but not entirely, is that a lot of you in the last one suggested that being when Babidi says this one calls himself the Demon King, Daburo now says that he may be from the realm, but he has no king. Of course, this comes from the recent Diamond lore, where we learned that Namekians are originally from the Demon realm. Though I think this may be some of the only Diamond content we get unless I make the special in the future, we will see. And with that, let's get right back into Z Fighters and their training. We start off with Gohan now running across the land, now sporting a gi not unlike his father's when he was growing up, and the power pole on his back. He has made it to the forest land where he has finally made it to the land of Korin. He is greeted by a large man saying his eyes must be playing a trick on him. Goku must be full grown adult by now. Gohan asks if he knew his father, with the younger men saying that Goku helped him and his father back when they were just kids. Bor asks if he is going to climb Korin's tower like his father did around his age. Gohan nods his head and says that that's the next step in his training. Upa says good luck to the boy as Gohan starts to climb up the tower. Further up the tower, we see punches being thrown and beams being fired. The Z Fighters are hard at work sparring with one another. Currently it is Krillin who is firing a Kamehameha at Tien, who counters with a Dodon Ray. Chiaotzu and Yajirobe are going against Yamcha in a 2-on-1 spar, with Yamcha keeping them away with a Spirit Ball. Kami comes out and tells all the Z Fighters that that is enough sparring, that he has been told by the higher up gods that he is to use everything in his arsenal to train them, telling the Z Fighters that they are expected another fighter within the hour, and when they arrive, they will start the next step of their training. Tien asks Kami what's the next step is. Goku never told them what he did in those years away before they joined up in the World Tournament. Kami says that his training was something that even Goku wasn't able to last more than a month of. The rest of the Z Fighters look at each other, now wondering what Kami could mean. Kami tells Mr. Popo to prepare some food and water, and once the next fighter comes, they will decide who to start with. Shortly after, the Z Fighters hear someone coming up the side of the lookout where they see Gohan has finally caught up with the rest of them. They all greet and congratulate Gohan on his training thus far, with Kami telling them to follow him inside. Once inside, they see all the food Mr. Popo has prepared, and they are led to a large door. Kami informs Z Fighters on the room in the spirited time, how one day outside is an entire year inside the room. He tells them that Goku was able to last by himself for around a month inside. This time they'll be going in groups of 2 to allow themselves to grow and not be alone. Kami has gone through the steps of preparing who will be going in together for the most efficiency. The groups will go as follows. Gohan and Krillin both are trained in the Turtle School way and should allow Gohan to catch up on what Krillin has learned so far on the lookout. Next will be Tien and Yamcha, due to both of them having similar backgrounds and shown great teamwork so far. Finally, Chiaotzu and Yajirobe will train together since they are similar in strength and have more obscure techniques compared to the other fighters. They will start with seeing how they compare to Goku and only be inside for about a month or so, and then go on from there. From there, they will swap partners and learn from each other. Kami tells Gohan and Krillin to get prepared, since they will be starting soon as possible. The rest of them will continue training like they were, but focusing on doing team attacks. We are then back on the planet of the Supreme Kai, with Goku sitting in a weird outfit he was in last time we saw him. He is sitting along with both Shin and Kibito, with the former saying they have meditated long enough. They will see how Goku's training has gone with a few tests. Since the last time we joined him, Goku has been taken under by Shin as a Supreme Kai in training, which explains the weird change in clothes. Along with that, he has been given a set of blue earrings to wear that shows his status as a Kai in training. Goku stands up and gets into his stance as Supreme Kai creates a shield around him. He tells Goku to test out his materialization and try to penetrate his defenses. Goku puts out his hand as a small cube starts to form, becoming about the size of his chest, and then launches it towards Shin. He then starts to go into a full-out assault, flying around the Supreme Kai, firing multiple Kachin cubes, with it knocking up tons of dust around Shin's shield. Once the dust clears, Shin's shield has a small crack, with Shin being pleased with Goku's training so far. He tells Goku that the next thing they will learn is how to use the ability that brought him onto his planet, that being the Kai Kai. He then tells Kibito to take Goku through the steps he was taught and come to him once they have achieved it, saying to start with Goku Kai Kai into the check-in station. Shin then heads to a small table where he starts to prepare a pot of tea for himself and the other two. They Then in a large white space with Gohan and Krillin just finishing a sparring match, they sit back down and start to eat some of the food prepared, with Gohan asking Krillin how it was like growing up with his father. Krillin tells Gohan that it was crazy with all the trouble they used to get into, but it was fun. When they first met, he hated his father for being so far ahead of him, but after a while he saw Goku as one of his best friends. Gohan asks Krillin to tell him one of the craziest experiences with his father growing up. Krillin scratches his head before noticing Gohan's tail again and thinks if he should tell him that one. He asks Gohan if his father ever told him how he lost his tail growing up. Gohan tells him that he said he lost it when he started training with Kami, but not much more than that. Krillin sighs before telling him about one of the tournaments him and his father took part in, around the same age he is now. It was Master Roshi and Goku in the finals, with it seeming like an even match. That was before the full moon came out. Gohan looks confused at Krillin, with him continuing on. He says how Goku fell to the floor with his body starting to change. His teeth became jagged and he started to grow hair all over his body. Then he finally grew into a large ape-like monster. He started firing beams out of his mouth at Roshi, but his master was able to destroy the moon, which changed his father back to its original self. Kami later on brought back the moon, but decided to take away Goku's tail. Gohan looks down and asks Krillin if he should cut off his own. Krillin says he doesn't know, since Goku seemed to grow back every now and then and messed up his balance every time he lost it. Along with that, it became a weakness when grabbed, which he definitely took advantage of when he was sparring as kids. He asks Gohan if he wants to cut off his own tail. Gohan says he doesn't really know. He has some attachment to it, feeling like it is part of him for some reason. Krillin says that makes sense since Goku liked his tail a lot when he was a kid. Gohan says maybe they can train his tail and make sure it doesn't turn him into a monster like it did his father. Krillin smiles and stands back up, saying that they better get back to work then. Back outside, Gohan and Krillin come out of the room with Spirited Time after a few months. Their gis are damaged and they smell disgusting, but the others notice how much the two have grown in the time gone. Krillin tells Yamcha and Tien about the changes they experienced in the room, how the gravity was different compared to that on Earth, along with the room seems to go on forever, so they should have tons of room to train in. They thank Krillin before heading inside. Krillin and Gohan go over to Kami, telling him about their training and what they discuss about Gohan's tail. Kami nods his head, saying that he will respect Gohan's choice, and tells Krillin that he will be in charge of dealing with it should anything go awry. Krillin nods his head before patting Gohan on the back, saying that they better head to the showers. Yajirobe hasn't let go of his nose since they came out. We then rejoin Goku and Kibito, now enjoying the tea that Shin had prepared for them earlier. Shin then gets up and says that he would like the two of them to have a sparring match to show off all the things Goku has learned thus far. Kibito scoffs at the request, saying that training with a mortal will be nothing, but agrees to Shin's command. Goku starts to get pumped, being able to finally spar like he did back on Earth before the two of them get into their fighting stances. We finally enter a dark area where we see a beaten up Piccolo struggling to get back up, with Dabura looking over him. He tells Babidi that they may want to stop before they are down another servant. Babidi looks into his crystal ball, saying that they will need all of the energy they can to be able to resurrect Buu. This planet has very few powers that will even come close to being worthy of taking. If they are able to resurrect Buu, they will need to draw through battling the few fighters they have on this planet. Babidi tells them that they will launch their plan by the end of this month, so they must prepare. Dabura and Piccolo both nod, saying whatever will allow Buu's resurrection. With the Majin Piccolo and the Demon King Dabura, will Earth's fighters be enough to stop the resurrection of Majin Buu? How will the new techniques and powers Goku have learned pair up against the Majin threat? Find out all of this and more on the next episode of What If the Sagas Were Reversed. Thanks for watching, everybody, this episode. And if you like to, make sure to show it by liking and subscribing to the channel. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Goodbye.